Hey guys, welcome back to Planet Mithril. Today we've got something a little bit new and special for you. We have got the first of our community showcases. It's going to be a regular little feature that we do probably once a month, give or take. Depends on how frequently people want to flood us with some of the expertly painted models. And we're going to just kind of talk through them a little bit and show them off for the community, and let's see what you guys have all been working on. This video is a little bit later than I anticipated. We did originally anticipate to get it out a bit earlier on in the week, but unfortunately real life will do what real life does and doesn't always accommodate for toy soldiers, which I think is very unfair of life, actually. You know, I mean, winning at toy soldiers, winning at life, as a very dear friend of mine once said. Thank you everybody who flooded our Instagram inbox with all their beautifully painted models. We've got a lovely variety of stuff to show off to you today. Some mostly Lord of the Rings, some Star Wars Legion, a couple of independent models, third-party models I should say, but really all round great effort of painting, and it's really nice to be able to see what other people are doing, and again, like I say, just show that off to everyone else. If you want to be featured in a future community showcase on Planet Mithril's YouTube channel, then please DM your models to us on Instagram, preferably on a clear background, white or black, doesn't really matter to us as long as the model is the focal point, or unless you've got any kind of scenic backgrounds you want to show off as well, we're always happy to put those in as well. So yes, thank you for everybody who has contributed their images of their models for this video. I'm going to retreat up there in a second, but first I just want to say, if you'd like to hit us up with a like or a subscribe, that's always much appreciated. The moment we get to 1,000, then I start painting Smaug. So you know, if you want to see Smaug getting painted, y'all gotta hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. But thank you everybody so far who has supported and continues to support. Without further ado, I am going to retreat up there now, and let's get cracking looking at some of these beautiful models. Okay, and first up we have two epic heroes of Middle-earth. Well, one epic hero, one epic villain, which you see during the opening prologue of the Fellowship of the Ring, courtesy of Factions of Middle-earth. We have Gil-galad, painted in the traditional blue and gold, commonly seen on quite a lot of elves in Middle-earth. This is a beautifully painted model. I love the fact that the gold is muted enough that it doesn't come across overly garish. It's nice and matted, but also has that degree of regal shine, which is testament for elf kind. And the back of the cloak, you can see there's some beautiful freehand attempted there on the back there. You've got the what I can only assume is the cross of the insignia of the High King. Picked out all the lovely little details down the spear, the gold embossing, the tiara, and then there's even some freehand on the shield as well. Really brings the High King to life. A nice little kit bash as well to kick us off nice and strong for the community showcase. Bravo on your Gil-galad. And also courtesy of Factions of Middle-earth, we have the Dark Lord Sauron himself. This is an absolute beast of a model, and actually I would say, in my experience at least, quite hard to get right, because the tones of Sauron are generally quite dark and muted. His armour is, you know, pretty dark as well, and there's no real colour in him, but Factions of Middle-earth has been able to pull off a really nice looking Sauron. You've really got the proper beaten Mordor tone to the armour there. Really, really, really makes the armour look absolutely stunning. And on the reverse of him, the cloak as well, a nice muted black, just complements the model really well. He's edge highlighted all around the armour. Every single bit of armour plating has got his own little edge highlighting. You've got some reflection on the mace as well, which also clips the top of his crown. Stunning job, absolutely stunning job. Of course, you have to have the detail of the one ring picked out on his right hand there, just before Isildur relieves him of his most prized possession. Great work there from Factions of Middle-earth. Thank you so much for your contribution. And I think it's also very fitting that we have, for the very first community showcase, that we actually have two of the first heroes you see in Fellowship of the Ring. You know, Gil-galad and Sauron, and it sets up the whole rest of the Lord of the Rings. So yeah, excellent effort there from Factions of Middle-earth. Thank you very, very much. And now we have a contribution from ME SBG Miniatures, a wonderfully painted Gondor Engineer Captain. Now, if I remember rightly, this I think is from the Gondor Avenger Bolt Thrower. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, because I know that the Engineer Captain from the Trebuchet is a similar pose, but I rather think he's resting on his the hilt of his sword and his scabbard. Beautiful, beautiful effort there. I love the fact that you've got all the tone of the armour just right. It's not overly garish again, because the silvers that you can paint Minister Earth, it's quite easy to over brighten them and make them look bright and shiny, but in reality they're not. They are a bit more beaten, a bit more muted, because they've been battling Mordor for eons past. But I like the little Uruk-hai head. It adds a nice little element to draw your eye to, and it's really hard to actually get the faces in the Minister Earth warriors, because they're so enclosed, their helmets. You have to really get in there, and it's quite easy to bleed onto the helmet around the side, around the eyes, and the bridge of the nose as well. But all the paint where it should be, which is excellent. And you can see the tree on the chest as well has been picked out with a nice bright silver, so that's a nice focal point for the model. I would love to see a whole army of these rank and file ME SPG miniatures. If you have any more Gondor stuff to show off, please. I'm Mr. Minister Earth, so please, I always love seeing people's Minister Earth and Gondor armies, so fire them over for us. It would be great to see more from you. But now we're moving on to probably what is, I would argue, the most ill-named Instagram account for the quality of work, Old Shaky Hands. And this stunning Ford of Bruin and diorama with the ring wraith running away from the water horses is a depiction of anything but shaky hands. This is some phenomenal work, absolutely brilliant, and truly captures the epic scene from the film. The beautiful highlights, probably it looks like a 2 or 3 stage highlight, and some really nice weathering on the back bottom of the cloak, which is really easy to kind of overdo and make the ring wraith look a little bit clumsy, but this is an excellent level of weathering. I don't know if that's a 3D printed model of the water horses, or if it's sculpted, or whatever. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and the blending, the white and the foam, the white, the greens, the slight beige in there as well, all blended together, really captures the scene from the film. I love this. This is exactly what, in my opinion, the hobby should be. It should be themey, it should be expressive. Old Shaky Hands, keep up the phenomenal work. I really want to see more of your work, and please, if you do any more dioramas, I would love to see them, because this is absolutely phenomenal. And I love the fact that we've got the differentiation between the reins and the horse torso, 2 different shades of brown there. With black, it's really quite hard, because you can, again, quite easily, if you bring the highlights up too quickly, it looks almost Tron-like. It can do. I've painted Raven Guard before, back in the day for 40k, and I kind of overcompensated my highlights. I went from a very dark to a very base colour to a very light edge highlight, and I predominantly edge highlight myself, and it looked very unnatural. This is a really nice blended progression from that really deep black of the ring wraith cloak to the edge highlights and the outer fold cloak highlights, but it's almost look kind of browny grey across the model, which is brilliant. Old Shaky Hands, bravo, would love to see more from you. Keep up the fantastic work. Okay, now we're moving on to a model from, or a couple of models I should say actually, from Paintbrush Pirate. First off, we have the new AMR sculpt. Paintbrush Pirate, you've done some really good work to really bring this model to life. AMR is notoriously difficult to paint because you've got all the livery in the embossed in the chest plate and the arms and the shins, and you've really been able to nail that. It looks really good. You've even got the differentiation in the chainmail and the scale mail, because he has a bronze-ish hue to his chainmail in the films. It's fantastic, and I love the split you've done on his shield, the half green, half red, and you've got all the wood grain throughout that as well. It's absolutely incredible. Some brilliant work there. I love it. And also, you are going to have to pick your brains, because the work you've done on that horse, the speckling. I think it's Fleetfoot, is that his horse's name? I can't remember off the top of my head, but the way you've made that horse look with all the speckling and the stippling on the back to really capture how the horse looks directly from the films, looks as if it's run straight off the film into your your painting workshop. Absolutely incredible, brilliant work there. And then also from Paintbrush Pirate, we have something new to the channel, some Star Wars Legion. We have Chewbacca here, again, phenomenal work. I really love the fact that you've taken the time to pick out all the fur. It looks like you've edge highlighted that completely, unless that's a very well done dry brush, but it looks like you've done a 2 or 3 stage highlight across the fur, and you've differentiated out the different hues of fur, the darker patches, the lighter patches of Chewie. as well as the bandolier, and the face as well just looks exactly like Chewie from the films. And then we have some Rebel Troopers as well, which are always fun to paint. Again, like I say, you've got a nice mix of earthy camo-y tones. The camo is done really, really well. Something I've always struggled with to look natural, so you've really done a great job there, and even bringing some personality to the Duros' skin. You've got the standard blue Duros and the green Duros as well, all highlighted up perfectly with great facial definition and some great features in the eyes, picking out all the beards. Some really phenomenal work from Paintbrush Pirate. You should definitely go over and check out some more of his work. And now we move on to a couple of models from Metal Face 13 Minis. We have a selection of Elvish heroes here. We have the High Lord Glorfindel kicking us off. Again, we have the beautiful blue and gold tones. We've got a slightly more pastel-y blue than the rich blue than is usually seen, which I think is a really nice contrast to the model and really helps bring it to life. And it's not pastel-y or light enough that it detracts from the areas of white, like down by Glorfindel's skirt, and doesn't take away. It doesn't blend in too much to the rest of the model, which is really nice. A lovely hue across the model there, and some really good work on the armour as well. You've got some really nice reflection down the sides of his armour and across the helmet as well. And finally we have Lindir. Lindir again, we have a Lindir on foot, and I'm assuming that's a Lindir on horseback, if not a normal elf captain. Again, Lindir, another model we haven't actually got any sculpts for. I'm not sure if this is a conversion or if this is from the Rivendell Night box, something you might have kit bashed there. The cloak looks like it might have been green stuffed, and if so, that's absolutely brilliant work, phenomenal work. Again, representing the gold and the blues that we've got across the other two elves. Very good work getting the two definitions of blue across Lindir himself. You've got the slightly lighter pastel blue here and a slightly deeper rich blue across the cloak, and I really like the deep richness you've given to this horse, and you've really followed the muscle definition of the horse's body there. And I love the socks he's got as well. It's really hard to blend in and pull off, and you've done a phenomenal work there. Some great elven models there from Metal Face Minis. Okay, and now we have a selection of models, and I really hope I'm pronouncing this right. Apologies if I've butchered it. From Lega MESBG. First off, we have King Theoden, the King Theoden that was released with the Pelennor Fields box set. Again, like AMR, a really complicated model to pull off and pull off effectively, because again you've got all the gold detailing and the recessed armour plating. It's kind of inverted AMR's armour, so instead of all the gold detailing and the silver detailing being on the inner of the armour, this is now the outer, so now you've got to try and create definition and get the colours right and avoid clipping all the gold detailing by getting the brownish hue to his armour. The fact that you've detailed out his shield, all the green and the red, really helps promote the fact that he's from Rohan and it's standard colours for men of his kind. All the gold detailing picked out expertly, and you can see there's a nice shine on everything, all the silver where it should be, and you can even see you've managed to very carefully pick out all his facial details as well, which is phenomenal work, absolutely brilliant. And then we have Thror, King Under the Mountain. I love the beard in particular here. You've taken particular time to pick out all the gold and the metal work that intertwines through his beard, which is brilliant. Again, excellent work on the faces. Lega, your faces are absolutely phenomenal. You should be really proud of how those have turned out. I'd love to have seen a reverse this model. I would have loved to have seen what you've done with the back of the cloak. I can only assume it's as good as the front, and the fact that you've managed to pick out all the individual hairs across Thror and not make it look too clumpy, because white and grey is notorious for getting clumpy and a bit messy, but you've done a really good job there creating definition across the whole model. Bravo. And then we have, I believe, Gorolf Ironskin, which is one again from Lega, which is sent over. I wanted to show this one off in particular because you've done so well to get the skin looking as natural and vibrant as you have. Large areas of skin like this are quite difficult, because if you keep your highlights too tight, they look unnatural and you end up just kind of framing the muscle. But the fact you've managed to blend up from the deep recessed dark skin here to the light skin, just where the light would touch naturally, you've got all the fingers and knuckles there all defined. Some absolutely phenomenal work. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of your work, Lega. And the battle damage down him as well, and even so far as to get all the individual strands for the bindings for his arms and legs captured there as well. I would love to see more of your work. When you get this done in the army finished, please send over some photos. I would love to show off the whole lot as a whole. Bravo, Lega, fantastic work. Okay, Now we're going to move on to Battle Dwarf Painting, who sent over a handful of Morannon Orcs and the Orc Taskmaster. Some fantastic work here. I love the rust you've got across all the models. It looks very natural. You've got some battle damage and blood on this fella at the back left here. Very natural, very orcish. You don't want Orc armour to look too clean. It needs to look dirty, grubby, ill-kept. You've captured that brilliantly. And I love the fact that you've gone so far as to make this Orc Taskmaster the one we see in Return of the King, who very nearly rumbles and discovers Frodo and Sam in Mordor as they cross the plains of Gorgoroth. And I love the fact you spent the extra time to pick out all the wood grain across his mace. Some phenomenal work. All the highlights on the Morannon Orcs. You followed the flow of the cloak really, really well. And again, the armour, it looks phenomenal. Very orky. Bravo, Mordor would be proud. Okay, and now we have another epic diorama to show off. We have a piece of work from LOTR Painter, and this looks like what I would assume is Theodred. Looks like he's running away from a handful of Uruks and Orcs. I'm really interested by this Theodred. It's a definite conversion, because this is the horse I believe you get with Theoden in the new sculpt for Theoden from the Pelennor Fields box set, and it's a very clean conversion. I love the attention to detail you've got here. You've got a little bit of battle debris here. You've got some dead Rohirrim down here, which is horrible to see, because Rohan, I love Rohan. I'm a big fan of the Rohirrim myself. And again, you've got a handful of orcs here. I'm particularly interested in this guy at the back here. You can see just from this picture here, you've got all the muscle definition properly done. You've even spent so much time as to get the white hand of Saruman across his face, as well as this orc down here. Some lovely work, some brilliant work, and the fact that you've managed to recreate a moment and give it life that we didn't necessarily see in the film is fantastic. Please keep up the great work. I'd love to see more from you. Okay, continuing our stretch into the vile hordes of evil Mordor, we have a beautiful orc banner bearer here from Bassar Miniature Painting. This guy particularly caught my eye, mainly because of the Eye of Sauron, which has been painted onto the banner. The fact that you've spent the time, and clearly a lot of effort, in trying to recreate the ever-moving flame of the Eye of Sauron, really absolutely stunning. And you even got the little glints of light in the pupil. It really looks like the eye is staring through the banner, coming out of the banner, looking into you. And I must draw attention as well to the sheer amount of OSL you have put on this model, as again, almost to represent that the eye is actually glowing from the middle of the banner. You can see it follows the curves down here, all the light where it should be, and even descends across the orc itself. Absolutely stunning work from Bassar Miniatures there. Okay, and now we have a dwarven hero, by the look of it, from MS Chalk. This has been quite heavily kit-bashed, which I really like. I love seeing people's conversions that they do for Lord of the Rings. I think it looks like it's just a standard dwarf warrior. We've got either a sculpted or another shield put onto his left hand here, with some really nice royal insignia there. He's got some nice horns from the top of his head and a great big old sword down the back. I don't think these armour pauldrons either are on the model itself as it comes out of the box. So this is a really fantastic conversion straight off the bat before we even delve into the painting. We've got a lovely mix of gold armour and silver scale mail down the bottom here, followed through with some rich browns and blues, which really bring this hero to life. The shading around the horns, reaching up to what looks like a screaming skull, possibly, question mark. Tip at the top with all the veins and the shading down the bottom, where obviously it would have been relieved from the animal in question. I'm really interested to know where this shield came from. It's a really lovely shield, and I think, yeah, this guy is you've turned what would be an otherwise quite mundane dwarf warrior into what you would believably see as a big, brutish dwarven hero ready to lead his kin to battle. Stunning work, and I always love seeing conversions that people have done. Some brilliant work there from MS Chalk 12. Okay, and now we have a piece of work from Firstborn Painting, and if there's one thing that always makes me insanely jealous as a painter myself, it's the people with the infuriating talent to be able to pull off fantastic looking non-metallic metals. Non-metallic silver is something I've always struggled with, because you need a wide variety of blues and purples to be able to really make it pop. And Firstborn Painting on this this elf warrior you've done here. This is phenomenal. You've blended that perfectly, even so much as to get the little glints of light on the very edges. Really looks as if this elven warrior is charging forward, the sunlight beaming off of his plate. Again, to get the blending properly on the white, because white again is a notorious paint to get right. It's something I've only just managed to do on my Gandalf, which I put off for so long. This is stunning. The sheer fact that you've managed to make it look as if there is light constantly moving across the model, even so much as to get the free hand on the back of the shield there, that must have taken a long time to do. I can only imagine how long this must have taken you to do, and how many layers must be involved in that armour in itself on its own. This is some phenomenal work from Firstborn Painting, and well worth checking out. I really hope you're going to do a whole army of this. And you may well get a DM from me in the future picking your brains as to how you achieve this look, because this is some phenomenal work. Absolutely brilliant. And now we have a couple of images from a very dear friend of mine, someone I've known for a long time, Mr. Paul Merritt. I've always been very jealous of Paul's painting ability. He's a very talented painter. I've known him for many years now, and he wanted to show off a couple of his models for the stream. First up we have a Gundabad troll. I love it. It's fantastic. You've really got the muted look of the armour. Again, Isengard, Mordor armour, Gundabad armour. It's very easy to make it look too bright, too showcasey. It's not meant to be. It's orcs. They don't care about their armour. They don't give a rat's about it. You've really got a really lovely muted look here, and even so much so as so it doesn't blend in with the tone of the troll skin around the shoulders there, which then blends down into the characteristic blue which we see across other cave trolls in Middle Earth. And the detail on the club as well, phenomenal. You've taken the time to pick out the detail across the club. I would be my Minas Tirith would be quaking in their armour if they saw this beautiful brute stomping across the battlefield towards them. Paul, some fantastic work there. I love the slight rust effect. You haven't gone overboard with the rust, which is what is really natural about it. It looks very natural, not too cartoony, not too overdone. It's very natural, very striking, and you should be very proud of that model. And now we have Meriadoc, Knight of the Mark, a lovely sculpt which was brought out with the recently released Dernhelm. Again, you've got the characteristic greens and reds of Rohan all in there. Absolutely fantastic. I love the I think there was 3 or 4 different shades of green there. It looks like you've got a 2 or 3 stage highlight on the fold here, and the shield looks like it's been blended up from a very rich, vibrant green to what almost looks like a moot green on the edges. And moot green is a very light and luminous paint, and to be able to get it on, if it is moot green you've used, I'm merely speculating here, but if it is that kind of hue you were going for, you've managed to get it, again, very natural. It doesn't look over garish. If it was too garish, it would take away from the rest of the model, and it really complements very nicely. It looks like you've attempted some non-metallic gold here. Yeah, you've got Dominic Monaghan's face perfectly captured there, as well as the characteristic elven cloak on the back of him. Some very tight and clean highlights there. All the shading really looks like the wind is ripping through that cloak as he stands, having just been dismounted, ready to take on the Haradrim. And you've even got some wood grain on the back of the shield there, which is something not a lot of people do. To have put the time in to edge highlight all that on top of everything else you've done here, Paul, some brilliant work. Absolutely love it, mate. Brilliant. And then we have Mithrandir himself, the Mines of Moria Gandalf from the old starter set and now the current Fellowship. Paul, here you've done absolutely brilliantly to create so much definition in these robes, which otherwise are actually quite flat on the model itself before it's painted. You've created some fantastic flow in these robes. You've really captured the Grey Pilgrim as he was in Moria. I love the fact that you've got the browns put through the grey down the bottom of his robes, which again don't blend in with the outer grey. You've managed to get a different hue of grey for the cloak, as well as a slight bluish tint to the hat. And you've picked out his eyebrows. I'm currently painting a Gandalf for commission, and those eyebrows I don't even think are on the model, so you've done brilliantly to pick those out. Paul, you continue to amaze with your paints, mate, and I would love to see more of your work. Okay, moving on to Mathom Studio. who has very graciously given us his Helm Hammerhand. This is phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. I love the blending, the quality of blending you've managed to get across all areas of the model, even so far as to get the blending through to points across the scale mail, down the side of the horse and helm himself. You've got some lovely rich greens there which complement the really lovely leathery rich browns which are characteristic of Rohan. But you've really managed to bring that horse to life. You can see where all the muscle definition is, you can see where the pressure on the horse's limbs are as it's rearing up and galloping forward. Some brilliant, fantastic work there. I haven't quite got around to buying a Helm Hammerhead myself, and as and when I do, I would love to be able to produce it to any standard equal or anywhere nearing what Matham Studio has pulled off here. You've got all the grain around the horn, which again is very difficult to do without it looking too unrealistic, and all the gold detailing around the armour is very tight, very neat. You should be very proud of how that model has come out, mate. I look forward to seeing more. And finally we have a model from another name I'm probably going to butcher, Gunnar 8, he says, without any kind of assurance that I've got that right. We have a Mordor Orc here who has been painted brilliantly. I love it. I love the look of the armour in particular, really captures your eye. You've got that slight shine to it. Now, although it does look a little bit too clean for it to be Mordor, the fact that you've got the edge highlights a little bit jagged and a little bit off-centre really help personify the fact that it's sharp, it's jagged, it's Mordor Orc armour as it should be. You've done really well there. I like the fact that you've spent the effort and the time to put some freehand on the shield. With rank and file orcs, it's very easy just to base coat, wash, get some highlights on there and get them on, because they're a dime a dozen for Mordor Orcs, and the fact that you've spent so much time and effort on just one orc is brilliant, and I would love to see them rank and file. I imagine a whole lot. You can see in the background there we've got some more orcs, presumably from the same army, given the fact that you've got the same level of what I can only assume again is non-metallic armour, and a similar hue to the cloth here, that they're all part of the same army. Got some brilliant looking orc skin there. Love it, and you've picked out the eyes brilliantly, and I like the attention to detail here as well. You've got some objective lighting, you've got your light source on your right, so you've got your light shine here, and then the other side of the helmet is dark as it would be with the light shining from one direction. Some nice little care and attention to detail there, and again you've got a lovely variety of yellows and browns across the back just to break the model up a little bit, because they're very cloth based and it's very easy for them to look monotone. But this looks absolutely brilliant. I would love to see a whole army of these guys. Please crack on, keep up the great work, and I'd love to see more from you. And I'm back down here now. Some absolutely stunning work we've just seen there from a handful of painters. The quality of work and the level and the standard that you guys have shown off today is phenomenal. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you so much for everybody who has sent in images for us for our first community showcase. We're going to try and do these semi-regularly, probably about once a month, give or take, depending again on if people want to see more and if people want their models to be shown off. We've got a handful of images kept behind from some painters already, which we're going to stick into the next one, so there will at least be a second one, probably middle to end of January now. Thank you everybody for sending in your images. It's great to see what people are working on, and hopefully it will give people a little bit of inspiration. It certainly has me, seeing some of the work, particularly on some of the dioramas as well. Seeing some of the work that you guys have done today has motivated me to work better and to work harder and try and create something a bit different. I always say, as long as you are happy with a model that you have painted, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. As long as you are happy with your level of work and you can look at it and go, I'm proud of that, then the model is perfect. Show everybody in the video some love. There's various Instagram accounts there, all credited. Everyone's photo credits will be in the description below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. A great massive thank you to everyone who sent in images for this first community showcase. We're going to be back on Monday with another painting tutorial. I think we're doing Farmer Maggot and his dogs this week, to tie together some of the Quest of the Ring Bearer stuff Don't hold me to that, it's not gospel. It depends what gets edited first and what gets finished painting first, but we've got some great tutorials coming up for you. We've got some more battle reports coming, and hopefully finally, now that we've actually got some models painted for it, the first Quest of the Ring Bearer scenario will be coming very soon. We're going to be doing a gauntlet challenge. Once we've done the Quest of the Ring Bearer scenario, we're going to set the bar. I'm going to set the bar going through the campaign with the standard fellowship from the films, and then we're going to have a variety of guests on the channel, all with their own fantasy fellowships, and we're going to see who can progress the furthest through the campaign without their fellowship dying. The person who gets the furthest will get a nice trophy or prize at the end of it, which we will of course be broadcasting as and when that is done, so stay tuned for that coming up across next year. Thank you everybody again for watching, and all the love you've shown the channel so far. It means the absolute world. I will continue to always say it because it really does mean the world. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!